All right, let's dive right into this explainer and uncover the unsung hero of your home's defense system. It's literally hiding right above your head, silently working day and night to protect your property, your comfort, and, yeah, your wallet. Today, we're breaking down the absolute essential guide to roof sarking for Sydney homes. Let's start by venturing up into your dark, dusty ceiling space. I mean, just imagine it for a second. It's probably hot, it's kind of cramped, and it's definitely not a place you visit very often, right? But looking up there forces us to ask a totally critical question about your home's true vulnerability. Is your home actually protected from the top down, or is there a massive gap in your defenses?
You know, you might have poked your head up through the manhole at some point, shined a flashlight around, and seen this shiny silver stuff tacked up under the rafters. A lot of people see that and just assume it's, I don't know, leftover builder's decoration, or maybe some cheap packing material. But as this quote from our source material perfectly highlights, it is the thing up there nobody talks about. It is absolutely not decoration. It's actually putting in serious structural work to keep your house standing and livable.
So, the crucial point here is understanding what this material actually is. Roof sarking is a protective layer usually made of a reflective foil laminate that sits perfectly sandwiched between your roof tiles or your metal sheets and your ceiling below. It goes right over your roof trusses before any insulation goes in, and here's the wild part. So many older Sydney homes completely lack this layer. They just have bare tiles, totally exposing everything underneath to the harsh outside world. Crazy, right?
Moving on to part 1, surviving Sydney's extreme weather.
Look, your roof is fighting a multi-front war every single year against our incredibly bipolar climate. First off, you've got coastal humidity that sneaks into your roof space, meets cooler surfaces, and silently breeds hidden black mold. Gross. Then you have the brutal summer sun turning your roof into a 70-degree fry pan. That leaves you with wincing power bills and bedrooms that are just way too hot to sleep in. And finally, those aggressive, out-of-nowhere storms bring horizontal wind-driven rain that easily finds its way under lifted metal sheets or cracked tiles. It's a unique cocktail of weather that aggressively attacks your home from the top down.
Which brings us to part 2, battling heat and moisture.
To fight back against these relentless elements, proper roof sarking steps in with two distinct, life-saving superpowers. People constantly assume sarking is just a waterproofing sheet, or maybe just a thermal shield, but it's absolutely both. On one hand, it acts as a moisture barrier. It's like a backup raincoat that catches minor leaks when your primary tiles fail, and it's totally crucial for controlling condensation. On the flip side, it's a heat reflector. Because it's installed with the shiny side facing up, it literally bounces that 70-degree radiant summer heat right back out before it even has a chance to bake your living room. Now, the real danger lies in what happens when that moisture barrier isn't there. Without sarking, warm, moist air rises up, hits the cooler roof surface, and turns into condensation. It then drips steadily right onto your insulation and plaster. This silently breeds nasty black mold on your wet timber well before you ever smell a musty odor or see a mysterious water stain spreading across your ceiling. It just grows in the dark. You know, it is so incredibly common for homeowners to confuse sarking with insulation. Think of it like dressing for extreme weather. Sarking is the thin, highly effective windbreaker catching the rain and reflecting the sun's radiant heat. Insulation, on the other hand, is the thick wool sweater keeping your ambient temperature stable. They desperately need each other to work. If you put fresh insulation bats under a roof with no sarking, it's literally like putting on a thick wool sweater in a rainstorm without a jacket. It's just going to get wet, heavy, and completely useless.
Let's shift gears to part 3, the bushfire defense line.
For those of you living near bushland areas, like the hills, the Blue Mountains, or the Sutherland Shire, sarking is your ultimate defense against an entirely new level of threat. Because as this quote highlights, it's chilling but absolutely true, houses generally don't burn from massive walls of flame. They burn from tiny, smoldering embers that get caught in the wind. These little embers find a tiny gap under your roof tiles, drop onto the dry, flammable dust and insulation in your ceiling, and literally turn your roof space into a chimney. They burn the house down from the inside out.
Because of this massive vulnerability, if you live in these zones, standard foil just won't cut it. Actually, it's the law that you must use heavy, tested, bushfire-rated sarking based on your bushfire attack level or BAL rating. This heavy-duty material has to be perfectly, meticulously sealed around every single vent, skylight, and chimney flue to ensure there isn't even a single tiny gap for an ember to squeeze through.
All right, part 4, when sarking goes bad.
So, how do you actually know if your home's hidden hero has degraded or torn over the years?
Well, if your home is showing any of these warning signs, your sarking is failing. Maybe you've got unexplained ceiling stains that don't quite match an obvious roof leak. Perhaps there are musty smells coming from your vents. If your upstairs rooms are cooking in the summer despite your aircon fighting a losing battle, or your power bills are climbing for literally no reason, you need to pay attention. And of course, if you pop your head through the manhole and literally see silver foil tearing and flapping in the breeze, well, your shield is completely broken.
Here's the thing. A bad, gap-ridden installation is almost worse than having nothing at all because it gives you a totally false sense of security. Proper professional installation requires continuous coverage, completely overlapped and heavily taped seams, every single roof penetration perfectly sealed, and, this is absolutely crucial, the reflective side facing up. It's hot, it's cramped, and it's really fiddly work up there, which is exactly why doing it yourself is usually a massive recipe for regret.
So what's the damage? What does it cost to get this sorted? For an average Sydney home, a proper sarking installation roughly falls into the $2,000 to $5,000 range. And look, while a full roof replacement costs significantly more, and sometimes you really do need a full replacement if the timber is totally rotted out, investing in your sarking is so much cheaper than constantly patching a dying roof forever while your energy bills slowly bleed you dry.
The crucial point here is the return on that investment. When high-quality sarking is installed right, you secure 20 to 30 years of massive benefits. We are talking about decades of lower air conditioning bills because your insulation can actually do its job. You get a much longer lifespan for your roof's timber structure because it stays bone dry. It even provides a really nice dampening effect on heavy rain noise drumming against metal roofs. It's a total game changer.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Do you actually know what's sitting between your ceiling and the sky right now? Before the next coastal storm hits, or before the next brutal summer heat wave cooks your bedroom, get someone honest to stick their head up into your roof space. Because the absolute best time to fix this hidden hero is right before you desperately need it. So tell me, will your roof space pass the test when the extreme weather comes knocking?